Hi, Kin 31 students, the body sculpting. This is going to be our first lecture from the textbook on components of fitness. This is important because the whole class should be designed, or all of your workouts or your wellness programs should be designed around these 5 components of fitness. Particularly for this class, we are only aiming to improve the muscular fitness, but we will talk about all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you, which is the handout that I put together for you. And these page numbers that you see on your handout will come from the 12th edition of our textbook, which is the Anybody's Guide to Total Fitness by Lenny Kravitz. We talked about this in class. So what I'm covering today as the first chapter in the book is our components of fitness chapter, or a couple of pages 7 and 8. So these are, when you talk about fitness, these are the components that you need to be talking about. And when it comes to designing a workout program or an exercise enhancement program, wellness program, we need to be targeting at least a couple of them. Okay, so what are they? The first one is cardiorespiratory endurance, which is also known as cardio. So cardiorespiratory endurance, by definition, covers your heart, your lungs, and all the blood vessels that transport the blood throughout your body. Okay, so what does that tell you? It tells you that how able my body is to transfer the oxygen, because blood carries the oxygen and all the nutrients that our cells need to function. Okay, cells are also available in your heart and in your lungs and in your muscles, so they need oxygen to go through the daily challenges of life. Even breathing is a challenge when you don't have enough oxygen. So this is the most important component of fitness in terms of health. Okay, I want you to remember this because it is needed or necessary for our survival. Okay, when it comes to designing exercise programs for health reasons, I always recommend having the first item in your program, no matter what your goal is. Even if your goal is, for example, bodybuilding and reshaping or sculpting your body, there needs to be a day or two that is devoted to cardiorespiratory endurance enhancement or improvement in your exercise program, because that is the most important for your health. The second and third are related to one another, although they're different, but they're related to your muscular system in the body. One is muscular strength, and the other one is muscular endurance. Muscular strength, by definition, it is the ability of the muscles to exert maximal or near maximal force against resistance. Resistance can be gravity. Resistance can be external weights that you lift against gravity. So the main resistance would be the gravity. You can use your body weight, you can use external weights to work against or create force against gravity. But when you look at the second component of fitness, which is the strength, that is the maximal amount of force that you can use. So how strong your muscles are. Okay. The third one, the endurance, is a little different. So when you look at the strength type of exercise or a workout, we're talking about just lifting a heavy weight once, okay? As heavy as possible, which is going to be your maximum, which is also called 1 RM or 1 repetition max, okay? That's the indicator of muscular strength. When you look at muscular endurance, we're looking at a sustaining or sustenance of muscle contraction over a fairly long amount of time, or a fairly high number of repetitions in a given time with submaximal contractions. Sub meaning below. That means you're not really trying so hard to lift your maximum amount. You just work below that capacity. Let's say your maximum amount of weight that you can lift with a squat is 100 pounds. If you do 100 pounds and just lift once or do your squat once, that would be a muscular strength that we're talking about. However, in muscular endurance, you're going through many repetitions with a weight that is below 100 pounds, which could be 50 pounds, and you do 10 repetitions with it, okay? Or you can hold a muscular contraction, again, not a maximum contraction, but a submaximal contraction, such as a plank or a wall sit in the squatted position, and hold it for a fairly long amount of time, like 30 seconds or 1 minute or 2 minutes. That would show you the muscular endurance or endurance of those muscles that are relevant to the movement that you're doing. Okay, so that's the muscular endurance. And the third one, or the fourth one, is flexibility, which is on page 8 in the book. Okay, what I want you to know for flexibility is, and I want you to also debunk the understanding that, you know, some people say, oh, I'm a flexible person, or I'm not a flexible person, I'm so stiff. Those are myths, and they're not true, because flexibility is joint specific, and flexibility is the range of motion, or ROM, at your joints. So you might be limited with your flexibility at your knee joint due to one reason or another, maybe an injury or strain that you went through, but you might be very flexible at your shoulder joint, because the joint, the shoulder joint, is, you know, surrounded by other muscles than your knee joint. Okay, so the soft tissue around the joint and also the connective tissue inside the joint will determine how flexible that joint will be, or how much range of motion will be available at that joint. So if you increase the flexibility of a given joint, that will greatly reduce the risk of having injuries or incidences of injuries. And the final one is the body composition, which draws attention of many people when it comes to workouts or, you know, being healthy or being fit. They majorly focus on changing their body composition, which is a good thing. But again, the myth of losing weight is not the same as changing your body composition, because body composition means the relationship of your body fat percentage to your lean body weight percentage. Okay, lean body mass or lean body weight is composed of anything but fat in your body. If you think about it, we have a lot of things or tissues in our body other than fat, right? So we have fat, yes. Somehow, some of it is necessary or essential for some functions in the body, but excessive amount of fat is not recommended. Okay, so yes, we do have fat, but other than that, it's not just the muscle. So when you weigh yourself, the number that you get is, let's say, 60 kilograms, and 10% of it is fat, okay? So 10% of 60 kilograms, or let's say 130 pounds, and 10% of it is fat. You know it, okay? You measured it and you already know. So it's going to be 13 pounds. You cannot say the rest is all muscle, because we also have water, we also have other organs, we have bones, and other tissues in the body that make up the rest of the weight than the 13 pounds. Okay, so anything but fat is considered lean body weight. Okay, so the relationship between those two is called body composition. And when a person's body fat percent is within an unhealthy range, we want to bring that down without losing the muscle mass. So we already know that muscle weighs way heavier than the fat, okay, as a tissue. If you look at a 5-pound muscle and a 5-pound fat, okay, they weigh the same. The 5-pound fat will take up so much room in space versus the 5-pound muscle, which is going to be very small, like your fist, but dense. So when you take that into account and weigh yourself, you should, then your target or your goal should not be losing weight, but losing fat, excessive fat. Okay, so if you drop the amount of fat you have in the body and keep your muscle mass, it might not greatly change the amount of pounds that you have or the body weight. Okay, so our focus should be improving the body composition instead of looking at the whole wellness and fitness efforts as losing weight. So those are the 5 components of fitness and the highlights about them, just a summary. And I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye.